Hi, my name is Alex, and this is my first ever video doing something like this. But I just wanted to give my two pieces about being a new player in Lost Ark and why I don't think anyone should start this game at all until Smilegate or Amazon, whoever's in charge of fixing things on the localization front for the game. I don't think anyone from North America should start playing this game. To kind of give you some credentials, just so you know, so people aren't like, you just looked at the game and you're just hating on it. No, I've been playing for 2 months now. I have one artist up to 1475 on the Hyper Express, a second artist up to 1460 on the Hyper Express, and a third one that I just boosted and got up to 1460 and bought its runes up to like tier 2 and enough so that I can at least be clearing Volton and Vicus weekly, which I've been doing for about 3 weeks now. I've also gotten my stronghold to level 15. Most of my life skills are about 15 to 20. Kind of been slacking on those. And I'm at a point now where I am unable to do what I think everyone calls is like the vertical progression, which is like doing like the islands and stuff. And that was one of my major like kind of the straw breaking the camel's back that made me want to make this video to alarm new players, because this doesn't get talked about when you're looking up videos or figuring out if Lost Ark is going to be the game for you to play. No one really talks about this part of it. They talk about the fun parts and the parts that gatekeep you from the fun parts, but they don't start talking about the min-maxing stuff that really gets gated but behind just time and extreme amount of time that I've ever seen in any MMO. And this is going to be items and things that you need. These are not just like, oh, I want a pretty glow and it's gated behind 30. No, these are like items and things that when people check your character, they will essentially say no to you, or you just flat out can't do, from what I'm told, when you get to Broshaja when it comes to like runes and stuff like that. So before I begin with this, let's just know I'm just kind of doing like a rant video. This is not going to be like edited in any way. I'm just going to go through it. I really think that someone needs to tell people that have been waiting like I was. I was waiting since Lost Ark was basically announced and we got to see like the first trailers like way back when. I tried going to play in Korea, went through the story up to like 45, and I realized that I'm not the type of person who likes to level, and it may stop me from wanting to play the game when I came out to the West. And so I stopped and just waited for it to come to the West. The reason I didn't play last year is because I had a bunch of like time stuff and like family obligations that were going on, and I finally just got a chance to be able to sit down and be like, okay, cool, I want to like actually get into Lost Ark now. So upon getting to 1475, which I rushed, I've spent about, I think, like $90 on the game. That's as much as I'm gonna spend. I might keep up the crystalline, or if I do continue to play the game in the coming months. But that's all I'm gonna play. From that point on, I'm just gonna be doing free to play. I really only did it because I found a group of people to raid with. They're really cool, so I was like, you know what? I could see myself doing this for the next like 2 to 3 months or whenever the Hyper Express ends. So $90 for me was like a no-brainer. For other people, that is going to be, a bigger deal. And so I just want to let people know, like, real life money really had to. I had to do it. I was going to be gated by the materials. There was just no way. Even with the Hyper Express, I still needed to spend real money to get to 1475 on an artist and 1460 so that I can on two 1460s, so that at that point I know I could do free to play with getting the gems and everything else that I needed to be able to get into Clown. I was pretty much gated the last 2 weeks. I couldn't do anything, and I finally broke down. I was like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna get to 1475, so I can at least be clearing Clown on one, and then the other two were just gonna be farming gold. So I'm pretty much just gonna just dive into it, and I'll do my best to explain things. So I know if you're someone who hasn't played the game, or you haven't done a heavy extensive research, you may not know what I'm talking about. But these things are what are very important in Lost Ark. So we have these things called like skill potions, which are what like you level up your abilities with, and then you have like character potions. I think that's what they're called, which like level up like certain like secondary stats like wisdom and stuff like that. Um, there a lot of them start being gated by like dead content, and I'm not saying it in a doomer way. Like they are dead. In the last week, I've tried to do field bosses. I've tried doing islands. Just right now, I tried to do islands, which it's kind of a dead time. I think it's like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So red on my face for trying to do anything in an MMO at any time. But I understand. So I tried doing Spider Island. It's an island where you have to go and you have to like mine an egg to start a boss. There was only 2 people there, or no, there was 4 people there. We could not break the egg. I don't know why Amazon's been told, or whoever's in charge. I'm not gonna say names. Whoever's in charge of localizing, they know that the servers are dead. On most of the Western servers, and they're just refusing to do what any smart company would do, and scale things down. So if there's only 4 people, the egg only requires 4 people in the same amount of time it would take if there was 15 people or 20 people. All the vertical progression that gets you like your runes that are really needed, runes are something that attach to your skills and give them bonus effects to them. Field bosses carry those. They just refuse to scale them down. So if you've played Final Fantasy, if you were to do a fate, the fate gets scaled down to if there's only 2 people or 4 people there. It gets scaled down so it's still doable. They're just refusing to do that. So a lot of my runes and stuff are gated behind that. So at a certain point, when I try to go to Belshazzar, I'm being told by my raid members that I have to get these somehow. And since I'm not in the same server as them, they can't go and help me with it. They're saying what everyone else is saying in their videos, ask a friend. Well, there's no one. There's barely any people on my server. All I see is bots. I've tried joining guild after guild. There's no one in the guilds. You literally just use them to get like whatever the currency you get from the guilds. And that's basically it. There's no one for me to be asking for help. I go out there, there's just like a bunch of people with a bunch of weird letters, which are obviously bots, and they're just standing around doing like their dailies so that they can get gold and sell it to whoever they're selling it to. So if you're someone who likes min-maxing, you are not going to be able to do it on a new character. Unfortunately, if you're someone returning, this video is not really for you. I would say that this is really just for like people who are fresh, new, do not have any of the stuff that they would have been able to farm before, when the game was fresh and everyone was doing this stuff. The second thing that I want to get into is RNG is literally in every single aspect of this game, and it's so off-putting. It's not fun. To give you just like in the most simplest thing, your life skill stuff, your pickaxes, your botany thing. There's RNG on that. You literally have to keep remaking weapons to get the better stats on it. And there's no way to like proc it like with Final Fantasy's crafting. Someone with high enough stats can make sure to get you within that threshold where it's good enough. No, the stats are just completely random from what I can tell. Every little videos I watch. There's even a guy on one of the Reddits who's like, he's trying to make like a calculator of how many times you have to make a mining or something. You have to make it to like be able to proc for sure. Which can be very expensive, and most of your gold has to go into honing. You have to spend gold into this stuff, and it's not that cheap when you don't have like a year on this game, or you're not trying to whale on it. You're trying to have fun. You spend some money here and there, but if you're unwilling to whale, you're not gonna have a good time. That's on that aspect, and that's just like the first part. Jewelry has RNG on it. You not only have to RNG get the correct stats, just the correct stats, and to make sure the quality, there's a quality RNG on it, so the quality makes sure that the stats are high or not. So you have to get, on some jewelry pieces it's 2 stats, on some it's 1. So you have to get a high quality, you have to get the stat that you want, and then there's this thing called engravings, which is added skills, or I guess like added stats. You have to get the correct engraving on there, and there's 2 of them, so to get the correct 2 engravings, or maybe 1, depending on how your build is. I haven't gotten that far because I'm on HyperExpress, I'm learning about engravings. but you have to then get the correct engravings on there, and then it has to be the correct addition to those. So it can be like, I think like 1 through 9 or 1 through 7. So you basically want like the highest one. So that's like 4 or 5 like different um, RNGs into like just the Julian, which I actually don't find that bad because it makes everything replayable more. There's always something better that you could be getting, but when you're coming into the game and you get shafted on the boxes that they give you, because they do give you boxes for jewelry, it could be honestly tiresome because then people check your gear and they're like, "Why do you have an expertise?" and blah 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 blah. And there's getting into that expertise. There's just dead stats. There's certain stats that literally like no class uses in the game. So I can't remember right now. Off the top of my head, expertise is one of them. I think it is. I think it's the PvP stat. So like if you PvP, which I'm told that's dead. I've tried queuing for it, and there was just bots in there. But like you could get a dead stat on your jewelry. Why? You've already made the RNG terrible, and I saw another creator. He was talking about it. Like there's just so many. There's just so much bloat for no reason. There's like just 4 stats that everyone needs. It's terrible. So yeah, there's RNG. There's RNG on your gear, but you can actually pay to increase your quality. So long days are gone or whatever. Gone are the days that you can just go and queue into the raid, get the gear, and it's the best gear. No, because it now needs to be better quality, because the better quality gives you better stats on your gear. But you can pay gold, which if you're a new player, you don't have gold because you've been honing trying to catch up with everybody. So you're kind of just like, and people will gatekeep you on the quality. I've literally had people look. I was lucky enough, as a new player, I like playing support, so they gotta take me. There's no one playing support. Like, that's why I get lucky. I get in the game. But I literally see while I'm watching the applicants, people who are on eye level, new players, hyper expressed up. They're in the kind of same boat. I'm looking at their gems. Their gems are the event gems. They get auto denied. They literally just get auto denied. No one will take them. And yeah. So I have to kind of touch on, there's just useless time gating, and it's absurd amount of time gating. I'm starting to get to the point where I wanted to do the vertical progression or horizontal, whatever everyone calls it. And I'm looking at the rapport system, and some rapports go with like finishing some like Una's tasks, like to get those your days, your Una's tasks, which are like really repetitive too, and they're just stupid. They're just mind-numbingly dumb to a point where like you just save spawn locations, you go there, run one place. Takes like 3 minutes to finish all 3 of them, but then you have to do them across 3 characters. You wasted like 10-12 minutes depending on how fast your computer loads things up, and there's just no challenge at all. It's literally just busy work to numb your brain. But there's a lot of just like time gates that are absurd. The one I started checking into where I was just like, nope, I'm not doing this, is that there was like 2 quests attached to it that would take me 21 days. I had to do them in a row. From what I was reading, you have to do them in a row. If you don't do them one day, it resets. So you have to go 21 days uninterrupted in your life to be able to log into Lost Ark, to do a mind-numbing task, to be able to get to, I think this one I was trying to get like a rune. I think it was like the wealth rune or something that I need. It's either that or focus. I think I was like looking at focus at the moment. I can't really, off the top of my head, I can't really remember. So there's just like a mad amount of useless time gating for very useful things. So in the meantime, if you get to a point where like you're now doing Belshazzar, people may not take you, and it's not because you're not based on your skill, not based off of anything you've ever done to this person or with this person. It's literally because you don't have a rune that's gated behind 21 days of content, and you're just stuck sitting there. And I wanted to bring this to the forefront for new players because this does not get talked about. The major issue that gets talked about is, oh, you just get gatekept because item level. No, people are just, they will literally gatekeep you off of these things that you're getting gatekeeped by the developers. Like, you can't do it. There's no way. Even if you wanted to pay money for this, you cannot pay money to pass by this. You're stuck for 21 days if someone literally was like, I don't want to play with you because you don't have this room. The runes should just be built into the game. It should be something. A lot of these things should just be built into when you level. The leveling is a slog. Like there's the main story. Oh, no one told me about this either. The main story and then the after main story. And it took so long for no reason. And I still need to do part of a main story because there's another continent that's opened up, Rowan, and I did part of it, and I was just so mind numbed from the leveling already. I was like, I gotta take a break. You also leveling. You think it ends at 50? It doesn't. No one told me this either. You then have to get to 60. I've been playing for 2 months now. The only thing I haven't really done is the Rowan, which would be the finishing the Rowan. I got pretty deep into. I think I'll have maybe 30 more minutes left of questing there. But yeah, I will only be around 55 or 56. I'm missing skill points. So when you're looking up guides to your character, you're never going to be able to do any of those things those people are doing because, for one, they have the runes that, enable their skills to be able to do that. They then have the EXP, which, I mean, over time that's going to come. That's actually one of the good things they did, but it's just an unnecessary time gate. Again, why am I not just 60? Why didn't we just end at 50? This is dumb. Why are skill points behind that? Again, if I didn't mention, skill points are another thing that are gated behind this vertical progression that's dead. There is too much vertical progression. Just too much. I guess maybe the game was a dying game in Korea at some point, and this is the stuff that they had to do, so they've had months or up to 6 months just to do this content, and this is what they all hammered out, just hoping the game was going to get good at some point, which obviously it did. But there's just a bunch of dead content that starts gating you as a North American player, and we got this all rushed. We literally got all of this rushed, people burnt out because how rushed it was. You've got people who played 10 hours a day since the beginning of the launch of the North American servers, and they don't even have this stuff. A lot of my Ray members, they played for the first year, but they took big breaks because they just got so burnt out of walking from point A, having point B, grab this, walk over here, wait 21 days, doing the same quest back and forth, and they just got burnt out. So now they don't even have the stuff where they only took maybe a 3-month break, a 4-month break, and they were hardcore playing the game for 10 hours. One of the biggest reasons I made this also is the card system. There's these cards that come from, you guessed it, dead content, or getting lucky from card packs, which now you'll need to buy them from the store or get them from. You can get some from raids, and you can get some from the world bosses, which again, dead content. Or from the whale videos I've seen Asmongold do. A lot of people thought of them just bought right out of the store and just kept hoping to get them. So there's a card system where when you get enough of a group of cards, they give you bonuses. Right now, because I'm on the Hyper Express, they gave me a new player's one. I don't know if that's going to disappear. I'm guessing it disappears when the Hyper Express ends, and I will have no cards. I will literally get gate kept because either A, I'm not going to whale to buy these cards, 2, I'm not going to sit and beg anyone in the area chat to please come kill this boss with me. And it doesn't just stop with getting the card once. I believe you have to get the cards 30 times each to empower the cards to get to a certain tier. So again, another RNG gatekeeping thing that literally doesn't need to be in the game. Should have just been given into the base stats of it. And they've created a monster with this because these people wasted a year of their lives getting these cards that they no longer can just take them away, or give cards away for free to get everyone at the same, because then the whales who keep the game alive, from what I'm being told, are going to quit the game. So just new players just, find other new... everything just keeps coming down to you have to just find people who are willing to play with you, which kind of sucks. If you're a min-maxer, I highly suggest you do not play this game. You will never be able to min-max unless you waste the next year of your life trying to do this dead content. Mind you, these people did this for a year when the content was not dead and they were able to get it. I feel like that is just going to exacerbate the situation. You may have to take longer to get this dead content's rewards. Today I was like, I'm gonna do Moko seeds. I was gonna go into or Mokoko seeds, whatever they're called. I don't know. You just go around grab them. It seems innocent enough until you start looking at the guides to pick these Mokoko seeds up, and then what do you know? Time gated. There was one in there. I think it was like 21 turn-ins for a rapport quest, and the rapport you can only do like certain amount a day, and that rapport character has to be at least fond of you, and getting fond with her takes like 30 straight days. You get my point. Like, it's a bunch of stuff just being time gated for literally no reason. It's still just in the game from when the game didn't have that much content, and it made sense to time gate at the time because people would just get bored if they finished everything. Because one thing that is good about the dead vertical grindy content, it's one per account. So if you do all of this per your account, it's shared across. So even the runes are shared across. So, which is pretty cool. Another reason, another thing that I've like ran into is unless you're willing again to whale, and people are gonna try to dispute this. No, like unless you're willing to whale, you have friends that have a crap ton of money that are willing to buy these things for you, or just give them to you. Playing multiple characters without either a lot of money or an a long amount of time. So anytime I bring up money and I bring up time, it's going to take triple the time that it would take the amount of money. That's just it, from what I'm gathering, and for everything that I've seen the last 2 months that I've tried to do myself without paying, it will take triple the amount of time, or a large amount of money to get done. Anyone who wants to play multiple characters that have different classes, good luck with that. Starting as a new player, gems engravings alone is a slogfest. If you don't have multiple characters to farm gold, you'll be stuck again behind vertical content that is dead, that no one's doing, trying to get engraving books. That's one of the first things I checked because I was trying to get the engraving books for my last artist. That's the reason why I chose to have 3 of the same character the same class, because I can get my gems faster. It was another way to get past the time gate of just getting gems. Gems all add to your abilities, either cooldown or attack damage, and they're really needed. It's like the first thing that people look at when they look at your character if they're going to take you, and they will just auto-deny you, just straight up based off your gems. So I started getting auto-denied at first because my gems were event gems, and then I was getting lucky breaks, was able to get my titles for the fights. So now people will take me in them even though I have the event gems. I even named one of my characters just to like alleviate and people's minds. I called it Rip Another Ult. So people are like, oh, this is an ult. He understands the fight. Supports aren't there to really do damage, just to buff. So as long as I'm buffing, I'm doing my job. So if you're trying to do multiple characters with multiple classes, so I just want to, it's damn near impossible, because then each class requires different runes. Some do share the same runes. Really good luck with that. Either you're gonna have to farm, be willing to just sit there and wait for the gold, which we only get from like raids and some life. You can try to sell your life skill stuff, but it doesn't sell for that much. And I'm sure, like I'm like 89% sure, once the Hyper Express ends, my time in Lost Ark is done. For the simple fact, my gems are going to be gone right now. I've only been able to farm up to level 5s. I don't really know if I'm going to be able to get up to level 7s. That's the acceptable amount. And then my engravings are going to be gone on my main. I use my engravings that I got from like the boost through the world when I was leveling. They do give you a lot of stuff, but it's enough just to put your face up to the window, see how pretty the game is, and trying to get you, which I think everyone calls FOMOing, and start just wailing out your ass to try to get to where everyone else is getting. And you can wail to get to the item level if you want to do that. But then you'll start getting gate on the vertical progression stuff. I've had people look at my roster level and just be like, "No, I can't. We won't take you." I have like I think an 80 level roster, and they just straight up will not take me sometimes, even when I have the title for the fight. Uh, so yeah, you can try going that route, but I mean, it's just gonna I most players like me who started about 2 months ago are and started with Hyper Express, they're gonna just find themselves not being able to play the game if most of these things get ripped away once the Hyper Express ends. And I do just want to reiterate about the vast amount of content. At first, it seems really cool. You're like, yeah, like there's gonna be a lot to do outside of raids. I like this is gonna be for like my forever game. There's too much content. Um, because this game is ever evolving and they try to keep everything. They try to keep everything. What is the word I'm looking for? They try to keep everything relevant, and nothing has faded away from years of Korea. It's only been a year for North America, but it's years of Korean content that they're trying to like force down your throat, and you need to do this stuff. If you want to min max in the game, you you have to do this stuff. Even if you don't want to min max, I know when I'm watching other artists play, their skills are so much more fluent, and they're able to use their ultimate skills so much more than I'm able to. Their meter gauge meter. They're able to use it so much more than I am because they have these rooms and they have all these things that I'm never gonna get because I'm not doing all this. It's kind of crazy. It'd be like a year's worth of work of getting this stuff. And why would I do that when I can just jump into WoW and I can be caught up in about 2 months, 2 weeks to a month with everyone and being able to be only based off of the RNG of what the boss drops, which I'll eventually get my gear because they have the vault system. Like, why would anyone sit through that and do any of that? So the last thing about the game, if you do get past all the things that I'm saying and you're like, oh, I still want to give it a try, if you're someone who deals with anxiety, I'm riddled with anxiety, but when it comes to MMOs, lucky, it just doesn't strike me. But if you're someone who comes with raid anxiety, I know a lot of people have that, where they mess up, they really can't handle anyone yelling at them, or they can't handle any like corrective like action from the group. Um, yeah, that's out the window. These people, if you mess up minorly, like just an example for today, I was finishing up Vicus Gate 3 on my ult, and there was literally a guy screenshotting anytime somebody got hit by a mechanic. Just a random boss mechanic. So not even like a mechanic that could wipe. Bosses have random mechanics where like, Vicus will AoE in front of her, then she'll flip up in the air, and then AoE in the back of her. He was screenshotting people who were getting hit by that, even if, they were dodgy. They would get hit, he'd see the number hit them, and then he would screenshot. I asked him what he was doing. He was screenshotting knowing that he was never going to take those people again in his raid. People will literally just leave the raid if one wipe. Even if you explain like, oh, I'm sorry, I know the mechanic, that was just a mistake. Mistakes just happen. I've been running it for like 3 weeks. I'm really confident, but sometimes, someone starts pinging when we have to all be charmed by Vicus. I jump out, but I usually get charmed back again because I'm able to get back in. I'll jump out, and I'm like, why did I do that? Like, I know this fight. Like, why did I jump out of that? But literally, people will just leave instantly. You don't get a chance to really learn mechanics. The pressure is on the minute you get in the raid. You mess up one time, people are already saying restart, kick. They start checking your gear. They start, going to the... If you ever play League of Legends, as soon as you mess up, they just start checking your whole history of your account. Well, that's what these guys do here. Immediately. You don't get like 1 or 2 times to mess up. The raid doesn't get 1 or 2 times to mess up. You can't even just laugh about a mess up. I LOL'd because I think someone didn't. Oh, they messed up their gate, but it was just funny. It was just RNG was not on his side. The ball didn't attach to him right away. He tried to get the ball. He got the ball, but then as he got it, the ball kind of like sped up and hit him. It was funny. It was obviously just bad RNG or just bad placement or bad service. Something. It really wasn't just him. And trying to explain it, the guy just DCs. So now we've got to go back out. Bunch of people leave. They're flaming him, and I'm like, that happens like almost every raid. Anytime there's a mess up, the flame is real. You will get into these, but you'll probably be instantly kicked out. They don't play around. It's not their fault either. I don't want to let the community think that I'm blaming them or anything. It's not. The amount of chores and dailies that you have to do in this game is sickening, and I understand why you guys are like what is it, chickens with your heads cut off, trying to just like get to every task and do every task. Because if you are playing the game free to play, that means you're doing 3 to 4 characters at minimum. Please don't listen to anyone says that you don't have to play ults. You have to play ults to earn gold. It's the only way, or you have to start learning how to carry fights and sell them. There's no other way to get past the goal. I thought I could be cool on all the big streamers. Were like, oh no, you don't have to play. Look, you just play your one characters. No. You get gate cut time gated by gold. I had no other way to earn gold. I exceeded every way on one character to earn gold. I was stuck at 1465 and just said, screw it. I'm going to go take 2 other characters up so I can use them. That's why I do the fights. Now I do the fights, 9, 2... I do like 9 fights now just to go earn gold and do the weeklies that you can do, like the Una's tasks, to make it go faster so I can get the gold from that. So I just wanted to kind of compile this stuff because this stuff really is not talked about at all. And I'm sorry it's such a long video. I was trying to keep it short. But this stuff really doesn't get told to you. The biggest thing that you get told is like, you're going to get gate kit. But if you're an MMO player, you already knew from the start when you first start a game, the community is always gatekeeped in some way, form, some worse than others. But Lost Ark, the gatekeeping is like the minimal. Like, these people have reasons to gatekeep you that are valid, that are pushed on them by the developers. I think it was Asmongold who said it. It was like, the developer is gone, any issues that are inside of it are their fault. And it's the truth. It's not the players. The players, they don't have time. It's not like Final Fantasy where it's like they get their clears and then they're like, oh, you know what? Let's just go do some Volton Vicus for new players. They can't go back into the raid, so they've got to earn their gold for their stuff. They've got limited time. They've got families, and this is where the gatekeeping issue happens because there's too many chores. The game is too bloated. The game is bloated on top of being dead, so people on dead servers or servers that are not highly populated have to go to every spawn of everything that they need, hoping other players are going to show up. So it's really not their fault. I don't want anyone to think that I'm blaming them or I'm not. The only part I would say is the excessive kicking. Like, just stop. New players have to learn. Let them mess up at least 3 times before you start, saying your slanders in other languages. My favorite is getting called an SB by some foreign guy from a different server. Like, it's my favorite thing. Or having someone, it's funny. We all start making fun of it. It really sucks because Lost Ark is an incredible game. If you do end up playing it, you're going to get hooked. But this is where I'm trying to stop people. I don't think anyone new should play this game if you're on the North American server. Even the Korean server, the same stuff's going to get applied over there. Just watch your favorite content creator who plays Lost Ark. Have fun. But I'm just trying to be honest. Anyone who's saying, like, this is a great time to jump into Lost Ark, this is the absolute best time, but they ask them about the runes. Like, if you have a chance to speak with them in their chats, if they're on Twitch, they're on YouTube, they also do YouTube, go and ask about the runes. Ask about the rapport system. Ask them about the vertical progression, how likely it is to get it done. And watch how fast they either dodge it or they either are gonna dodge it or they're gonna give you a smooth answer. And ask for specifics. But like, how would I do this now? And, push, because a lot of their videos are just them trying to farm views, which they're supposed to do. It's their jobs, but there's never, until whoever, I don't know who gets to make the final decisions, because I hear so many back and forths about it. until they change all of the vertical content rewards to go into playing the main game that is now, you cannot min max your character. You can't do it unless you're on a highly populated server and people are willing to help you, which now you've got to find a guild, you've got to ask people to do things that they've already done, most of them don't want to do, and you just have to get lucky with nice people. You can't play you can play multiple characters, but unless you have a lot of time or a lot of IRL gold, you can't play multiple classes. I'm watching people struggle right now trying to take Slayer up. They thought it was a good idea to HyperX wrestling up, and I know someone has already dropped like $100 trying to get Slayer up so that they can do, Brawl Shaza. It's his money. He wants to do what he wants to do with it, but that's crazy. HyperX's character, what they do with these events is like what they with most free to play games that are honestly dying. They get your face up. They get you to see what you want to see. You've been it looks so much fun. The fights are amazing. Just either spend your entire life on this or do you need to eat every day? Just use your money for your food on this instead and sate your soul, not your hunger, man. But no, definitely. I just wanted to warn people. It really sucks because I loved this game, but if you made it this far, thank you. I don't really care for likes or anything like that, I want to get the word out there so people can hear about this part of the game, because you don't get told about it at all. Like, everyone focuses on the gatekeeping and the item level, but they don't tell you about this vertical progression that's dead, that literally stops you from min-maxing your character, or characters if you wanted to. So, thank you for watching this, and have a good rest of your night.